Hey, I think we're live.
Yeah, it appears so. Hey, Carin, how's it going?
It is good. Yeah, it's Tuesday and it's the end of February, which is kind of crazy. I'm like, how is time flying off the shelf like this? But
It's
yeah.
because we have goals, but I will tell you, I am so grateful that financial February is over.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has been I love this month, but I'm gonna be honest, when we started planning March, I kind of was like, okay, I'm done with February. I'm ready for because I'm like so excited about March now. But yeah.
Yeah, March is gonna be amazing. I'm excited for that. But yeah, I think I mean we're really killing it. Like you have some so Carin officially launched her business Mixed Media Pros just on the 15th, and she has lofty financial goals. And I actually outsourced, I just shared this in my group, Prioritizing You. I outsourced again the books and financials, and I was like, I feel like I'm like letting down the podcast listeners because I said I was going to take ownership and everything, but here's what I did. This is what's keeping me from feeling insane for doing the same thing over and over again. I outsourced it, but I also asked the person who is doing it to train me. So as soon as
Oh.
this gets handed off to the mother-in-law, the CPA, then she's actually going to walk me through the steps, because then I was like, and this person I've worked with intimately before, and she helps with administrative type stuff, and I'm like, you know how my brain works, and so I'm like, I feel like there's going to be an ability to like shift it, and I'm like, I'm paying her hourly. I'm like, because it might, it's probably better for her than project based. I did some
Yeah.
weird stuff, Carin. So, and
Oh,
it's gonna
I
be.
love that.
But anyway, so we have been like really doing the financial stuff. Like we embraced it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Financial February where there were some big goals and I look for like this week's podcast episode. So the last episode in the series was the everyday formula for embodying abundance. So we talked about embodying abundance on a daily basis. And so I really like took that on and like revisited a lot of the practices that I've had in the past that I kind of haven't wasn't doing as much. And because I knew just this undertaking was going to be huge, and it, it's it's really hard to do that because it's like you want to believe so much that not only that your goals make sense, that they're doable and possible, but like that you are going to step up, that
Yes.
you are going to be like okay, like especially if you haven't in the past, if you've had goals and you kind of didn't do it and then you gave yourself like you let yourself off the hook, or whatever. And so it's like to really believe, to go all in on yourself is like, it's hard to do. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. So, but that's what I've been practicing. So I'm not going to pretend like it's never, I don't think that work is ever finished.
No.
We talk about that a lot on the podcast. Is like, it's lifelong journey. And so, I've just been like reminding myself, okay, and just doing the work to keep showing up and embodying the abundance that I want and not whatever it is that I don't want, right? Because that's what we do. We fall into the pattern and then we keep repeating it and then we wonder why and.
Yeah, and what I love about you, Carin, is like you practice what you preach, and like you've hired some help, some coaching help to get you through this. And because like, we know this, like it is like professional growth is a personal development
Mm-hmm.
situation. Like you have to develop yourself personally so that you can grow professionally. And so you are, going into uncharted territories. And so you hired help, and like this is what and we're not trying to pitch Next Level Accelerator. Like we actually finished that last week. And
Oh,
so
no.
Carin and I are focusing right now, we are focusing on reaching the right people, connecting with women who have an entrepreneurial mindset, and just basically feeding into you guys and providing you with the weekly episodes. But like we're putting the Next Level Accelerator on pause for now, um with hopes that it'll come back, because it was
I'll be back,
very
yeah.
I Carin, I'm telling you, like just doing both of those, like I created a home office, and like you guys can't see what's happening behind, but like it is like slowly working itself into, I actually have like, I repurposed a bar that my husband and I got. It was the first piece of furniture, but I'm sober. So I was like, I don't want to hang on to this bar because I just felt like it was a mixed conflict, like a conflict of interest. But I actually like converted it to a stand-up desk. So now I have like 2 desks in my
that's
office.
cool.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm bringing the screen down here. But anyway, like having those accelerators and working with those women, like it really like shifted some stuff inside of me too, where like I just felt like I was able to go harder and like look at my business in a different way. And like I checked in with one of them on Monday and I said, you know, are you still using the domino? Because it, you know, it's like last week was the last week. And I said, are you still using the domino? And because like I'm doing that, like, you know, it's just a smart way to do business. Like, what is the thing that's going to make the most progress moving forward? So yeah. But yeah, you know, embodying abundance, like in today's episode, Carin had mentioned this and I had never heard of it. She talked about doing like a soundtrack from like your, when you were like most feeling yourself, like the 80s or 90s or whatever you have.
Yes, the middle school soundtrack. Yes.
Yeah. And I love that because I haven't actually made it yet because we batched. So I listened to it today and I'm like, oh, I got to make that soundtrack because I do have soundtracks for other stuff, but I'm like, how smart to like just get you like puffing yourself up, you know, than that music back when you were roller skating or whatever it is people.
Yeah, whatever you were doing. Yeah. Yeah, I love that concept. And I still haven't looked for the article because I think I reminded myself, I probably wrote it on one of my thousands of stickies all over the place, but to look for where I read that. But I love the concept of that. And if it's not middle school for you, like whatever time in your life that, like Marcia said, you were like really feeling yourself, because when you are going on an entrepreneurial journey and building something, it like you have to be feeling yourself. If you show up to a call with a client, or if you make an offer on the internet, if you put something, like if you're not feeling yourself when you're writing that post and putting it out, I know that seems weird because you're like, it's just words, how are they going to tell the difference? But the energy that you are bringing to that, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're getting on the phone with someone, whether you're putting a post, whether you're replying to an email, whether what you film a video, whatever it is, whatever your energy is, like if it's not on point, if you are not like drinking your own Kool-Aid, then you're not going to get the right results. It's just the way it works. And it's like, if you are not feeling yourself, then how is the client that you're trying to get or the customer you're trying to get gonna be feeling you? Like nobody should be feeling you more than you are, right? That's the self-love part that we talk about. And so it really makes a difference. And I have a couple of like Spotify soundtracks that I'll tune into from that period of time, but I have to make my own that has like the songs that I used to have on repeat, because it'll have a few of them but not all of them, you know. So I need to do that. But yeah, I mean, and it's hard. It's even hard for me because when I was younger, I mean, I thought that I was great. You know, I was like, of course I'm wonderful, right? Why would I not be wonderful? And like, because I'm not ugly, okay? Let's just put it like that. And so I would get a lot
stunning.
of negative.
Admit it.
Right, yeah, I'm quite beautiful. And so I would get a lot of people to be, oh, you think you're cute. You know, you think you're all that. You think you're so, you know, like that. And I would be like, is there something wrong with that? Like, don't you think you're cute? Don't you, like, shouldn't we all think that of ourselves? But like hearing that so much, I kind of like shied away from embracing that yeah, I'm the shit. And so is everybody. Like, we all should feel that way. Like, I never viewed it as like me thinking I'm cute meant that you weren't cute. We all can be cute. Like, there's room for all the cuteness, like, you know. So, but it just so it took me a while, and I'm still working on that even now, is like really embracing that, because when I have to be the face of my coaching, of course, but now also this agency, it's like I have to like be confident and like approach everyone with like, yeah, I know my stuff, I can fix your problems, and this is how much it costs. You ready? What's up? You know.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, you have to be your own advocate. But I mean, it's like the whole journey of like childhood and adolescence is it's like, you know, until other people, external forces start telling you to like sit down and shut up, it's like, you know, you can, it's tough, but it is something that you have to get past, like if you're going to be a business owner, because like you do have to be your number one fan, because you're the one you're waking up with yourself every morning, and you have to do stuff where you're going to be getting rejection, and you can't take it personal. Like you have to be able to like fail but to show up completely and be like, that didn't work. Okay, what can I do different? Or how can I move forward with this? Or, you know, this isn't the right client for me. Or, you know, and ask people like, what was it that you didn't connect with? And I'm not talking about the MLM scripted, like, can you tell me why? Because like that happened to me once, and I was like, Carin, like I legitimately said I already have someone who sells this to me.
Right.
Like, why
that would be the reason why. It's kind of clear.
Yeah. Right. Like, why are you like, but can you tell me why? As per our last conversation.
Right.
But anyway. So yeah, but embodying abundance, like that, I feel like I don't know that I had an abundant mindset growing up, just because financially, you know, we had a very strict budget. My mom stayed at home. There was 6 of us, you know, including my parents, and my dad was military. So everything was like to the T. And so I wanted stuff, and it was like, you know, it's kind of like Napoleon Dynamite, like, you know, we can't afford that. Put that back and get yourself some Pampers. Napoleon Dynamite is the best movie. Anyway, that's basically like my upbringing. No, but like when he throws the piece of steak at his head. Anyway, Carin, revisit that movie. If you haven't in a while. But anyway, but it was like I wanted stuff, but it was like you get to the point where you want stuff and then it doesn't get fulfilled and you don't know how to do it. Like I didn't know to go out and like start mowing yards or whatever. Like, so I just got used to like a life of deprivation. Like I wasn't able to get the stuff, but it was like and it's been like a recent thing too, where I'm just like, no, I want to have this and I feel worthy of it, and I'm gonna figure out how to get it. And then I go about getting it, you know, and it's, you know, and when you start doing that and you start to be able to tell the difference between the scarcity and the abundance, because everything starts to change. Like instead of being like, I only want to, like my thing is like, I recently am like, okay, you know, I'm opening up my calendar to have like conversations with people, especially for her hideaways. Cause I'm like, I did that at the beginning, like market research and everything, but I'm like, I want to see what it is people think about this. Like, what it is that they would like, what they connect to with this. But before it was like I was being like a very scarce with my time on the calendar, but now, you know, so abundance is like, it's an all over thing. It's not just a financial thing. It's like your time and your energy and everything. But it's like, for me, you know, I'm like now with the set work hours and everything, it's like, okay, I'm going to give it my all during work. And then on the weekend, like, you know, just like legit chill. So
yeah. No, I love that. And I love that you said that, like abundance is not just about money. It's also about your time and your energy, and it all like works together. And so you can't be like stingy with anything, because then it's not sending the right messages out that I am open and available. I want this. Give me more of this. And then you're like, oh, but no, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to. Yeah.
Right. And I am like, total disclaimer, like I'm not like, oh, it's a free for all, everybody jump on my schedule. Like it's like literally there's like a few hours on Tuesdays where people can book. So like there are like boundaries and buffers around it, but it is like, yeah, like you do want to be able to be open to opportunities and stuff, you know, because you just don't know where it leads to. So, but yeah, that's very true statement, Carin, about like, just don't send mixed signals. Like, oh my God, I want all of the clients. And then you're getting all these discovery calls and you're like, this is so burdensome, you know? No, like it's be grateful. And then, you know, take each one and be excited, but like do those exercises to get yourself pumped up and everything, so that by the time, you know, you're on the call, like they're like, oh, I'd be a fool to not work with this woman.
Yeah. Yeah, really. I mean, it's important. And Marcia has her one-on-ones open. Did you mention that?
I did not know. I've started mentoring with Marcia, which I'm super excited about, because Carin, I've been like just looking at the journey and the path and everything, and I'm like, it was because I didn't have boundaries set in place and I didn't know how I wanted to work with people. But
Right.
now, yeah, now that I know like what I can handle, and we have a cadence with the podcast, and I know what I'm doing with her hideaways and the, you know, connections continued and everything, like, and I'm telling you, Carin, it's from the systematized, like my word of the year for 2021, like actually sitting down and figuring out what day is for what and how. Anyway, it's like I got in the dork left brain, and like I feel like now it's like everything is just flowing, and I'm so excited because, you know, but that painful growth, right? Like you got to go through those experiences. And but yeah, Carin is like in that stage right now where it's like up all night, up for feedings and burpings, and like she's in the infancy, but like she's growing, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah,
for all of
it's
it.
horrible, but it's also wonderful. Like I keep, every time I have like a thought or feeling, or I even say out loud, like, oh, like I always follow it up, but I'm very grateful for this. This is what I asked for. I will figure this out. Like, you know,
Right.
like I'm not going to tell you this is not what I want, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend like it's not painful in the process. So,
Yeah.
you know, because I have to get a team on board first before it'll be a little better for me.
Yeah, but it's growing pains, you know, it's the kids growing taller and, you know, like gaining that muscle mass, and like it's a process. And but that's what we're here for. That's what you sign up for when you're an entrepreneur, business owner. Like you are in the development arena, like you.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what makes the work so important. The
Mhm.
work to embody abundance, to be open and ready to receive, and just like staying in alignment with what you want and not what you don't want.
Yep. All right, Carin, I'm ready to close the door on February. Kick it to the curb. I was kidding. And I feel like I've mentioned enough times that like you know, that I'm not doing the same thing. Like this time next year, I'm not going to be repeating the same thing. Like mid-March, early to mid-March, like I'm going to be face back in the books, like figuring it out for me. And, you know, but I've had multiple people say like, Marcia, you're being way too hard on yourself. And I'm like, I am, but I also have that self-awareness that like this cannot continue. If I want to be a legitimate, profitable business owner who guides and mentors other business owners, like I got to get it together, you know?
Yeah. And we talked about that. I don't remember which episode it was, either the mistakes or I don't remember if it was the one before that or that one, but we talked about like that even sends the wrong signal. If your books are a mess and you don't have like your money foundations in place, that's not telling, you know, that's not setting the because what would happen, and I talked about this when I went live today on my page. I just talked about, are you ready for what you say you want?
Right.
And so that's part of it, is like being prepared. Because what would happen if your business goes, you know, you go viral and all of a sudden you're booked full and you make 100K in 24 hours? Could you handle that?
No.
So if you can't, then while you're in the process of getting to that place, you really have to be doing the work to get prepared for that. And it's like a lot of people don't do that because subconsciously you don't believe it's going to happen. And that's what's at the core of that. If you are not preparing, and I'm prepared to say this universally pretty much, that if you are not like setting the foundation and being like ready, getting the things ready, and if you don't know, Google it, hire people, like figure it out, right? But if you are not doing what you need to do to set the foundation and be prepared, it is most likely because you subconsciously don't believe that's going to happen. You don't believe you're going to be successful. You don't believe you're going to sign all those clients. You don't believe you're going to make all that money. And so you have to start with that, right? Like getting to the root. That's what we talk about so much, is like those limiting beliefs and like really doing that inner work. And sometimes you do have to, and that's what like embodying the abundance relates to that too, is sometimes you do have to kind of, I don't like the term fake it till you make it, but you have to kind of act as if, you know,
Right.
you kind of, and I talked about that before too, that sometimes I'll be like, well, what would $1 million Carin do? Like if, you know, what would Carin that's already making, you know, whatever amount, that already has whatever amount of clients, that's already doing, what would she do? What would her decision be right now? What kind of systems would she have in place? What kind of support would she have on board? Like, and start there, not from where you are now, because you're thinking of it based on your current circumstance. And sometimes it's hard to really imagine like 10 clients and a bank account with, you know, lots of commas and whatever it is that's on your vision board, you know, like it sometimes can be hard. So you kind of have to like try on those new shoes, and they might be a little wobbly and your feet might be hurting and you got to break them in. But, you know, sometimes that's what you have to do to just kind of trick your brain a little bit, so that it kind of starts to really get used to that thought. Like, ooh, could this be the new normal? Could this be the reality? And then it's like, well, you need to be doing that, not this, because this is where we are now. And like you start to act more and more, and then it starts happening and it catches up. So and now the reality starts to actually match what you desired and what you've been acting as if. It starts to be what it is. And then of course now there's going to be new levels, right? Then you have new goals and new things you start going after. So
Yep. Totally agree. And I wanted to say, because I don't remember when we recorded. It's funny because now that we batch, we're like, we don't know what
I know, I'm like,
episode it is.
what episode? When did we talk about that?
Yeah, so listen to all the episodes. I think that's what we're getting at. But like I did start doing the owner's distribution again. So I had one from January, and the next one I think I did January 25th, because I think we recorded on the 22nd, or whatever that day was. So I wanted to start out, okay, January I paid myself, and then February. So it's like that's as simple as it can be, just like a stepping stone like that. And then hopefully, not hopefully, but it's going to increase. And, you know, then I can do like, you know, the T. Harv Eker like method that I was doing before, with like how much was going to me and, you know, back into the business and that kind of stuff. So yeah, but I mean, that's definitely, that was future Marcia working in the now or something.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Amazing. So March is gonna be fun. So you're definitely going to want to be around and tuning in for those episodes. And we're restructuring a little bit. And so we're going to do our Convos Continued once a month. Because all of our months are like themed, it just feels like it'll make more sense. And we can kind of do like a summary, a wrap up. Sometimes we'll have a guest. Sometimes it'll just be me and Marcia talking like today. But so that'll be the last Friday of the month. Or we could do the last Tuesday. I don't know. We'll iron that out, but we'll make an announcement somewhere, sometime.
Somehow,
But yeah,
some way.
yeah, yeah. So stay
Maybe we'll
connected
do
on
it in a
social.
reel.
Oh, my AirPod fell out. I moved too much, guys. That's why my camera is always getting blurry, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing over here. And then like my AirPods keep falling out. I need the old ones. These new ones are like, so I don't know. It's weird, but anyway. So yeah, I'm an animated character over here. I'm always doing too much.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Burning calories. Yeah. So we'll let you know what for the Convos Continued, and then yeah. But I mean, episodes every Tuesday. Podcast episodes will be coming out. So
continue.
yep. So we'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.